name is Jodi McDonald, and I am a registered citizenship and immigration consultant. I've been practicing immigration for the past 7 years. I started out mainly working with my husband's friends who were themselves tradespersons. And I realized that though tradespersons brought a lot to the Canadian economy in terms of the work that they contributed, they were not very adept at maneuvering the Canadian immigration system. And so over time, I realized that these persons needed qualified and competent assistants to help them to maneuver from temporary resident status, of course, to permanent resident status. So I came to Ashton College, not so much based on my experience of working with tradespersons, but as I became more and more involved in my profession, I wanted an opportunity to give back to the immigration community. And so getting the opportunity to be an instructor with Ashton College afforded me the opportunity to give back to the profession by helping to shape a new generation of immigration professionals. The Immigration Assistant Legal Diploma is a comprehensive program that offers the opportunity to learn the foundations that they will ultimately need to succeed in their practice. We have within the program for instance the legal writing component of the program. We gain a full exposure to the Canadian judiciary system that forms the basis or the foundation for you being able to successfully practice immigration. It really is a starting point, a critical starting point, I would say, for any immigration legal professional to build their practice upon. The added bonus of doing it through Ashton College is that you are able to learn firsthand from seasoned professionals like myself. So for this program in particular, students will learn the critical components needed to put together legal submissions for your clients. They will also learn the accounting aspects of managing an immigration firm if you're hoping to maybe go into business for yourself right from the get-go. They will also learn the important dynamics that they will need to be able to maneuver, especially for persons who may be representing their clients in front of the Immigration Refugee Board, having an understanding and appreciation of the court system and the dynamics that will need to be able to be maneuvered to ultimately get to that successful outcome for the client, because the successful outcome of an immigration application begins right from that initial consultation and follows through. And the program itself will hone those skills, will help students to identify those pillars that need to be built upon to ultimately get to what is critical in building your practice, which is continued successful outcomes for their clients. The backbone, it's like a good legal assistant forms the backbone for a successful immigration practice or a successful law practice. They have to be able to manage the workload of their practice. They have to be able to almost be the right hand person for the principal of that practice. They have to be able to manage filing. As I said earlier, they have to be able to manage documentations. They have to be able to manage the accounting aspects of the firm. So it's actually very, very important that a legal assistant be able to jump right into a firm, have that hands-on knowledge, that hands-on teaching experience that they need to jump right into a firm and basically make a difference, right? A legal assistant who shows up and has no real hands-on knowledge or hands-on skills to bring to that firm and is completely dependent on the firm may, I would want to say, prove more to be a liability than an asset. And so that is why it is absolutely critical that as legal assistants or legal assistant hopefuls who are out there in the market space trying to determine which program is a good fit. It's absolutely important that they are getting into programs that they will get this solid, firm, hands-on, experiential knowledge to help them in being able to enter through the doors of an immigration firm or legal firm and be able to jump right in. And that's where it's important that they're aligning themselves with the right program to get as much as they can from their instructors and whatever other opportunities is afforded by the program so that they can come with this artillery to offer to their potential employer. The thing that I believe makes one the most proud as an immigration legal assistant, or anybody, I would say, working in the immigration industry, are ultimately the stories that you help to shape, the stories that you are a part of. I mean, for some persons, it may be a visitor's visa, but even a visitor's visa offers, or I should say, an approved temporary resident visa offers to the holder a unique opportunity to explore Canada, right? And then we get to the bigger stories of those persons now who are coming to Canada to start a new life, to become permanent residents of Canada or landed immigrants. The fact that you get to be a part of that narrative is something that is absolutely priceless. When you hear the reactions from clients or you read the reaction when you let them know that their applications have been approved, that is something that is it's not every industry that you get to have that experience with. So it really does put immigration um in the forefront in terms of you, the person who is working with the client, and the client sharing that mutual, I would say, euphoria of a positive outcome. And as a legal assistant, you get to be an integral part of that story. So it's not just the principal who would have been involved in the application, but if you're that hands-on, fully involved legal assistant, you would have helped to shape that narrative and gain that successful outcome for that client as well. What was the norm 12 years ago is definitely not the norm today. And that's one of the traits too of a good legal assistant, is being able to have that way of sourcing that information that you need, that because the Canadian immigration system is quite dynamic, right? I describe it as liquid. It's one of the most liquid immigration systems that you'll come across. So almost every day there is something new that comes up. And so as a legal assistant, or a good legal assistant, I should say, you have the responsibility to proactively seek out and understand that information as it comes. Because no, if you're the right hand for that principal that you're employed with, it's being able to even be that second eye for them. So having an understanding and an appreciation for the ministerial instructions as they're handed down gives you that ability to be even more of an integral part of the success of your firm that you're aligned with. So the thing with immigration is that it presents a unique, it's a unique, what would I say, branch of law, right? Ministerial instructions are guided by what's needed right now. So if you look at provinces or territories, for instance, to break that down, from time to time, provinces or territories will update the jobs that they deem to be in demand in the province, right? Because as the population evolves, so too do the needs of the provinces, and ultimately so too do the needs of Canada. So you find that immigration in and of itself is sort of like a foundation for what happens in Canada overall, because of course the population is what needs to be served. The law serves the population, right? So for instance, the other day the government came out with the whole idea of putting a cap on international students, but the reality is there are thousands of international students currently in Canada now who are on the border of being displaced. So in putting this cap on international students, it now allows the government to be able to focus on helping the international students who are in Canada, who are struggling to become permanent residents, right? So the law as it relates to immigration, it's not something that can remain unchanged over a significant period of time. It is always changing because the population is always changing. The profile of the population is also always changing. I would say it's really a very dynamic branch of law because it really is that branch, or I would say that root from which all the other laws, will have something to pull from. But there has to be a balance where immigration is concerned first. And that is why it will continue to be liquid and will definitely not be able to be something that can just be set in stone and left for periods of any significant period of time. The the number one thing I would say, and I tie it back to what I said earlier, as an immigration professional, it's a very busy industry, right? And the reality is most immigration firms don't necessarily have that time to kind of slow down, to ease you in to their practice. So getting the knowledge, the skills, the experiential guidance right from the get-go, right then when you're doing your program, becoming prepared to become an immigration legal assistant, if you can be proactive in preparing yourself to those who are employing you. When they see the caliber that you bring to their practice, you automatically make yourself indispensable from day one and you build from there.